Shalom Lakem, Kal Yashara'al. How's your peace, Israel? Welcome back to another video. And we're dealing with the topic at hand, which is the problem of evil and suffering. Okay? And we're going to pick it up in the book of Job or Yoab, chapter 1 and 2. We're going to read both chapters. Okay? And it reads on this wise. In the land of Uz there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and had a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among the people of the East. His sons used to hold feasts in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When the period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, "Perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." This was Job's regular custom. One day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, and a man who fears God and shuns evil. Does Job fear God for nothing?" Satan replied, "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But now stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he surely curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well then. Everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." Then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. One day when Job's sons and daughters were fasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabeans attacked and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." While he was speaking, another messenger came and said, "The fire of God fell from heavens and burnt up the sheep and the servants, and I am the only one who escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, "The Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on your camels and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, "Your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house. It collapsed on them, and they are dead, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." At this Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship and said, "Naked I have come from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. That's powerful, man. You know. On another day, this is chapter 2, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them to present himself before him. And the Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" And Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, and a man who fears God and shuns evil. He still maintains his integrity, though you incited me against him to ruin him without any reason." "Skin for skin," Satan replied. "A man will give all he has for his own life. But now stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, he is in your hands, but you must spare his life." So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head. Then Job took a piece of broken pottery and scraped himself with it as he sat among the ashes. His wife said to him, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." He replied, "You're talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" In all this, Job did not sin in what he said. When Job's three friends, Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite, heard all about the troubles that they had come upon him, they set out from their homes and met together by agreement to go and sympathize with him and comfort him. When they saw him from a distance, they could hardly recognize him. They began to weep aloud, and they tore their robes and sprinkled dust on their heads. Then they sat on the ground with him 7 days and 7 nights. No one said a word to him, because they saw how great his suffering was. That was Job's suffering at the hands of Satan and his response, and we're dealing with the problem of evil and suffering. Okay, we're going to go into the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verses 2 to 4. Okay, and it reads on this wise: How long, Lord, must I call for help, but you do not listen? Or cry out to you violence, but you do not save? Why do you make me look at injustice? And why do you tolerate wrongdoing? Destruction and violence are before me. There is strife and conflict abounds. Therefore the law is paralyzed, and justice never prevails. The wicked hem in the righteous, so that justice is perverted. That was Habakkuk's complaint about the prevalence of evil. Okay. We're now going to go into the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 18 to 30. And it reads on this wise: I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed to us. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. For the creation was subjected to frustration, not by its own choice, but by the will of the one who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself will be liberated from its bondage to decay and brought into the freedom and glory of the children of God. We know that the whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. Not only so, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for our adoption to sonship, the redemption of our bodies. For in this hope we were saved, but hope that is seen is not hope at all. Who hopes for what they already have? But if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently. In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. And he who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. For those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. And those he predestined, he has also called. Those he called, he also justified. And those he justified, he also glorified. That was the hope of redemption despite present suffering. Okay, we're dealing with the problem of evil and suffering. We're going to go into the wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 23 to 24. Okay, and it reads on this wise: For God created man to be immortal, and made him to be an image of his own eternity. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that do not hold of his side do find it. Okay, that was evil entered through the world through the envy of the devil. Okay, we're going to go into the first book of Enoch, chapter 99, verse 1 to 4. And it reads on this wise: Woe to you who work godlessness, and glory in lying and extol him. Ye shall perish, and no happy life shall be yours. Woe to them who pervert the words of uprightness, and transgress the eternal law, and transform themselves into what they were not, into sinners. They shall be trodden under foot upon the earth. In those days make ready, ye righteous, to raise your prayers as a memorial, and place them as a testimony before the angels, that they may place the sin of the sinners for a memorial before the Most High. In those days the nations shall be stirred up, and the families of the nations shall arise on the day of destruction. That was Enoch's lament over the wickedness and the violence in the Lord. Now we're going to go into 2nd Baruch, chapter 54, verse 1 to 14. Second Baruch, chapter 54, verse 1 to 14. Okay. And it reads on this wise. And I asked Yahweh, the mighty one, and said, You alone, O Yahweh, knew the heights of the world beforehand, and that which will happen in the times which you bring about your word. And against the works of the inhabitants of the earth you hasten the beginnings of the times, and the ends of the periods you alone know. You are the one whom nothing is hard, but you are, however, the one who easily accomplishes all by a sign. You are the one to whom both the depths of the heights come together, and whose word the beginnings of the periods serve. You are the one who reveals to those who fear that which is prepared for them, so that you may comfort them. You show your mighty works to those who do not know. You pull down the enclosure for those who have no experience, and enlighten the darkness, and reveal the secrets to those who are spotless, to those who those who subjected themselves to you and your Torah in faith. You showed this vision to your servant. Open to me its exposition also. For I know that I have received the answer regarding the subjects about which I asked you, and that you gave me a revelation about that which I asked, and that you have let me know with which voice I should honor you, or from which members I should cause honor and praise to go up to you. For if my members should be mouths, and the hairs of my head voices, even so I should not be able to honor you properly. I should not be able to utter your splendor, or to express the excellence of your beauty. For who am I among men, or what is my significance among those who are more excellent than I, that I have heard all these marvelous things from Yahweh, the Most High, and innumerable promises from Him who created me? Blessed is my mother among those who bear, and praise among women is she who bore me. For I shall not be silent in honoring Yahweh the Mighty One, but the voice of the reverence I shall narrate his marvelous works. For who is able to imitate your miracles, O Yahweh? Or who understands your deep thoughts of life? For with your counsel you reign over all creation which your right hand has created, and you have established the whole fountain of light, with yourself. And you have prepared under your throne the treasures of wisdom, and those who do not love your Torah are justly perishing, and the torment of judgment will fall upon those who have not subjected themselves to your power. That was the reflections of the presence of evil and suffering in the world. Okay, we're now going to go into the book of Ezra, 4th Ezra, chapter 3, right, verse 20 to 22. Okay. And it reads on this wise. And yet you do not take away from them their evil heart, so that your Torah might bring forth fruit in them. For the first Adam, burdened with an evil heart, transgressed and was overcome, and so are all they that are born of him. Thus the disease was made permanent, and the Torah also in the heart of the people, with the malignity of the evil root, so that the tov or tawab or good departed away, and the evil remained. Okay, that was Ezra's question to God about the evil persists among why evil persists among people. Last scripture, this is the testament of Job, chapter 4, verse 7 to 9. Okay. And it reads on this wise: While I live in this manner, the seducer could not bear to see the good I did, and he demanded the warfare of God against me. And he came upon me cruelly. First he burnt up the large number of sheep, then the camels, then he burnt up the cattle and all my herds. Or they were captured not only by enemies, but also by such as had received benefits from me. And that was dealing with Job's dialogue about the cause of his suffering and his trust in God. And the topic we were dealing with was the problem of evil and suffering. So I only hope the reader and listen to this word will be blessed by this. So may Yahweh bless you, may Yahweh keep you, may Yahweh cause his face to shine upon you, may Yahweh be gracious to you, may Yahweh lift up his countenance upon you, and may Yahweh grant you everlasting peace in Yahshua HaMashiach's name I pray. Selah.